If you are a black woman watching this particular video and you have never experienced any of these things that you are about to watch, please, it simply means that this particular video is not for you. Because when I saw this video on my FYP, where these black women have to literally said a lot, not only black, even some of the white folks, I was like, no, this is a content that every single person will see. If you live in America, you live in US, you stay there, you have that DNA, you are a citizen, then this particular video is for you because a lot has recently happened that at the end of the day, it has taken us to the level where we need to critically think and make decisions on every single thing that we've seen on our daily activities as a black man, as a black woman. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. If this is the first time tuning in, subscribe, like this video, drop me your comment, and lastly, do not forget to share. I want to say credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches you're going to be seeing in our today's episode. And I want to say a very big thank you as well to every single one of you subscribing, dropping commentaries, liking my videos. I do not take you guys for granted. I want you guys to honestly watch this video from beginning to the end and let me know your take about this, because every single time issues like this pop up, it tends to look like black people are literally the problem. Let's watch and I'll be back with commentaries. Let's go, guys.
I'm going to tell you right now, this video is going to be one that might trigger some of you because you're going to feel yourself being called out. And if I'm not talking about you and I'm not referring to you, then you need to be quiet, because only hit dogs do what? Holler. Here we go. I was on the clock app the other night as I was getting ready to go to bed, as I am wont to do. And I just heard someone say something. A sister said that white women are to black women what police officers are to black men. And I had to stop in my tracks and think about it. And I was like, damn it, if she ain't right. Because the more I sit with it, the more I realize, yeah, that's exactly how it is. And let me explain why. We say all the time that HR is not your friend. A lot of us know that HR, especially when white women in HR are in charge, HR is very much a problem. White women in HR are the biggest architects of harm for black employees and particularly black women in the workplace. But the older I get, the more I realize it's not just HR. It's any position where white women are placed in authority over vulnerable black people, especially black women and black children. Any position where we are dependent, any position where we are in need, any position where we can be policed, disciplined, denied, or dismissed. That's where they become the most harmful and dangerous. And before anybody jumps in to say not all, let me be very clear. I'm not talking about the handful of exceptions. I'm talking about the pattern, the majority, the lived experiences of black and brown women everywhere, but particularly black women everywhere. Because the pattern is consistent. I speak to people every day on discovery calls, and the majority of the people I speak to are black women, and the majority of the bad actors in almost every situation are white women. Not saying there are not other people who are bad actors, but when I talk about the majority, it's white women. So let's start with healthcare. There is a video circulating right now of a black woman in labor in a hospital. I believe it's in Dallas or Austin, Texas, but it's in Texas. And in the video, it's absolutely visible that she's in excruciating pain. And the white nurse literally has her back turned to this woman, making her sit there and complete a routine intake. I won't share the video because I just think it's traumatizing. The black woman is clearly about to give birth. She can't stand, she can barely talk, she's doubled over in a wheelchair in pain. And the white nurse, who can see all of this, refuses to move with any type of emergency. She refuses to escalate, she refuses to act, she refuses to care. 12 minutes later, that baby was born, I believe they said, in the wheelchair. This is not a bad nurse. This is a pattern of how white women in so-called, quote, caring, unquote, professions treat black women when we are at their mercy. And this has always been the case. When I was giving birth, I made sure that I not only had a plan, a childbirth plan, but I made sure that my cousin, who was a nurse, was with me for the entire time. And she was there to step in and advocate for me because I knew that I would not be safe in that environment if I was alone. This is how Black maternal mortality happens. This is how we die. And they still get praised as, quote, angels, unquote. Then there's education. Let me tell you something personal. I raised my kid in the public school system, primarily public charter schools. And let me tell you, it was hell from beginning to end. And I had to be their number one advocate every single day, every single year. It was one fight after another, one email after another, one meeting where I had to check somebody every single time. And the majority of the people I had to interact with were white women. And when it comes to Black children, regardless of gender, many of them are horrendous. Horrendous. They do not see our kids as children. They do not see our kids as deserving of protection. They do not see our kids as worthy of patience, grace, or humanity. I figured out very quickly that they did not have my kids' best interests at heart. And one of my biggest regrets, one of my true life regrets, is that I could not figure out a way to homeschool my kid. Time and time again, the people who intervened and saved my child and literally ended up saving my child's life were Black women and Black men in those school systems. Black children are not safe in these systems, and Black parents know this. Now let's go back to the workplace and HR. White women are the architects of hell for Black women at work. That's just a statement of fact. I'm not saying all, but I am saying most. And that is based on my lived experience and the experiences of the thousands of women who come to me on discovery calls and consultations. A lot of y'all think your problem is the company or the policy or the white man at the top. And I'm not saying all of those things are not an issue. But the architects of your demise, the architect of your despair, the architect of the mess that pushed you out of that last job, 9 times out of 10, is a white woman. She's the one writing you up. She's the one tone policing you. She's the one crying when you challenge her. She's the one calling HR on you. She's the one manipulating the process, whispering behind closed doors, sowing seeds of doubt about your competence. She's the one documenting you while making sure there's no documentation on her or others that look like her. Sometimes she's acting on behalf of white men, absolutely. But the face of the harm, the gatekeeper of the harm, the frontline agent of the harm, white women. And here's why the comparison hits me so hard when the woman compared them to the police and how Black men see the police. White men may be the architects of the system and the owners of the system, and they are. But white women are the everyday enforcers when it comes to Black women. They are the ones who carry it out quietly, with a smile, with a soft voice, with concern, with policy. That's what makes it so dangerous. White male power is obvious. It's straightforward. It's in your face. White female power is protected, shielded, and underestimated. And that makes it far more insidious. They cry to derail accountability. They play victim while perpetrating harm. They manipulate narratives with a level of social credibility we don't get access to. And the harm they cause is not questioned because society refuses to imagine them as dangerous. They are the police of the workplace. They are the police of the classroom. They are the police of the hospital room. They are the police of any system that has the power to control, punish, deny, or destroy Black lives, especially the lives of Black women. Let me end with this. The more I reflect on that statement that white women are to Black women what police are to Black men, the more I realize how true it is. And that's a frightening thing. Because just like the police, white women act with the impunity. White women act with impunity. White women are believed. White women are protected. White women can harm us with no consequences. And we are the ones who get told to calm down, to be polite, to communicate differently, to give grace, to understand their intentions. No. I'm going to say that again. No, we're not doing that anymore. Call the pattern what it is. Protect yourself. Document every single thing. Trust behavior, not performance or aesthetics. And stop expecting safety from people who have shown you over and over again that they will never prioritize your well-being. For those who are going to say, this is not me, and what can I do? When you see this kind of behavior happening from people who look like you, check them. And leave Black women alone at work. Let us do our work. Leave us alone and let us strive, as my mother used to say. Leave us in peace. And stop being the perpetrator of harm. At this point, it is not a question of you not knowing what the harmful behavior is. It's a question of you insisting on continuing to engage in it. If this video was helpful, please hit the like button. Take a moment, subscribe, comment, but do so constructively and respectfully. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. This is Anne Marie. This is the Anti-HR. HR is not your enemy. They are definitely not your friend, but I am. See you in the next video. Bye.
I saw something that said, doctors are to Black women what police are to Black men. Just think about that for a minute. Let that sink in. Because that's not just some wild comparison. That's actually reality. We talk a lot about the police brutality, the profiling, the lack of humility, the fact that no matter how compliant you are, they will still see you as a threat. A Black man can walk into a traffic stop and never walk out. Likewise, a Black woman can walk into a hospital and never walk out either. Black men have to survive a system that was never meant to protect them. Black women have to survive a system that was never meant to believe them. They'll tell the police, I can't breathe. They'll tell the doctor, I'm in pain. And in both cases, they get dismissed. Serena Williams almost died giving birth because the doctors didn't take her seriously. She is one of the most famous women in the world. If she couldn't get the proper care, just imagine the women who don't have the fame, who don't have the money, who don't have the ability to fight back. The same way the police have been conditioned to see Black men as dangerous, doctors have been conditioned to believe that Black women are over-exaggerating, dramatic, that we can take more pain. How many Black women have to die from childbirth? How many medical complaints have to go ignored before we realize that the white coat is just as deadly as the badge? Different uniform, same disregard.
For the white woman watching this page, I'm curious, do you stand up for people of color, especially when they are the only person of color in the room? There are many times that I have been in a room where there's one person of color and they're describing an incident that is definitely racist and they are silenced. So I want to share with you a few microaggressions that when a Black person is describing their situation, that you can identify and call it out. Research has shown that if somebody names it straight away as racism, that validation actually creates a sense of peace and empathy and calms the nervous system of the Black person because they feel like their experience has been recognized. Types of microaggressions you might see is that when the Black person is speaking, they are interrupted, they are silenced, they're made wrong for what they're sharing, even though they are right. They are smiled at in a bypassing way and then treated like they know nothing or they're not deserving or they're not worthy. That's called a double bind, where a mixed message where somebody is smiling but their behavior is not aligned with it. You may see evidence of contempt For example, somebody might treat them with sarcasm, eye rolling, shrugs, sighs, as though here we go again. They may be treated differently to the white people around them. For instance, somebody might listen to the white people and not even ask the black person what they think. When you stand up to this and say, this is weird because right now what I'm seeing are microaggressions that I perceive as racist. What that does is let every white person know that their behavior that is racist is unacceptable, not welcome, and it's being rooted out. And all of us who are white have been growing up in a system that has systemic racism, where education, economics, housing, medicine, healthcare are frequently racist. And unless we are pointing it out and acknowledging it, it will perpetuate. We need to be a voice for those who are not heard and who are treated badly. Let's talk about why white women don't police black women and why they don't stand up against racism. So growing up, obviously, as a white woman, I was expected to be nice, sweet, and happy. My brothers could be angry, aggressive, hurt me, punch my head. They did all of that. But I was not allowed to stand up for myself. I had to understand the white men. When I confronted my mom and said, my brothers just beat my head, she said, oh, he must have been having a bad day. Why don't you go and see if he's okay? So white women are socialized to put white men first and to deny their own experience and be sweet and nice to get loved. If I wanted to be loved and accepted by my family, I had to silence myself and ignore and abandon all that I felt. I was not prepared to do this. I have no contact with my family. If I confronted the racism I saw in the men around me, I was insulted, mocked, and shamed for being somebody who loved black people. I was shocked as a child that I would be rejected for saying, why do you think that's okay? Would you like to be spoken to like that? How come you think that you can speak about people like that? Do you not realize that this is emotional abuse that you're doing? Why do you think it's okay to be racist? At each point, I was told to be quiet, that I'm ruining the day, that I should just be happy and focus and be grateful. Now, I am probably autistic, so I'm direct, and I focus on the truth and fairness. And for me, racism is wrong and it's unfair, and I will always stand up for it. And it will mean and has meant a lot of rejection for doing this, and I will continue to do that. But for a lot of white women, they haven't had the capacity or the skills to be able to go, I'm going to make a stand. What making a stand means is they will be isolated, rejected, abused, put down, controlled, made wrong, and they're too scared to do this. So they repeat what has been done to them, where they are tone policed and made wrong for not just being happy, sweet, and nice. We need to make a stand against the socialization that silences and represses us. So please, find your voice. Stand up for yourself, stand up for others, stand up against racism and sexism. Together we rise.
Not seen black men incorporated into the Pet to Threat pipeline by Dr. Keisha Thomas, but I have seen in real life black men targeted by white women at work. And I don't know if that means that Pet to Threat expands to include black men or if this is a separate phenomenon. So I'm curious what your experience has been, if you're willing to share it. The worst I have seen was when I worked at a place there was another white woman manager who was like my peer, who on top of being a horrible employee and shitty person, had a vendetta against black men specifically. I'd already caught her abusing one of my own employees and had locked her out of meetings because of it. I'd reported her to senior leadership and they were just like, oh, that's just how she is, we're talking to her. And I was like, this is not okay. And they would also tell me, they'd be like, yeah, other people have problems with her too, it's not just you. And I'm like, so we're seeing a pattern of bad behavior here. But another black man who I did not manage, who was a peer, called me and told me that that same woman, he had caught her like after a Teams call. He had thought he hung up, but he didn't, because, you know, like we all think we hit the button and it doesn't work. And she had listened in to him talking to his wife, because this was during work from home, about a vacation they were planning to take. And not only did she stay on the line and not hang up like a normal person would, she then the next day accused him of trying to take vacation without letting her know. And he reported her to senior leadership and they never made him work with her again. But like, not only did she keep her job, like she still got more opportunities in that company than anybody else. She was absolutely a favorite. And that was just insanely violating and weird to me. Like, she was like, you were taking a vacation without letting me know. Like, don't all married people talk to their partner before they put in a PTO request? And also, why the fuck are you eavesdropping?
Doctors and nurses are to black women what police officers are to black men. And what I mean by that is they quite literally don't see us as human. They don't see us as people who are deserving of basic decency and respect and empathy. And it's the most disgusting thing, because when we're having an issue or we need help, that's who we're supposed to go to. And they don't see us as fucking human. Watching the video of that woman who was in active labor, damn near fighting for her life, because in case we forgot, pregnancy can be life-threatening. Whole time, LaChrista Vaughn, the nurse at Dallas Regional Medical Center, is sitting there more worried about paperwork, not showing a shred of fucking empathy for this woman who is fucking fighting for her life. And even beyond just this one nurse who was put on administrative leave, not fired, but put on administrative leave, I'm side-eyeing every single medical professional in that hospital, because what do you mean nobody thought to step in? Nobody thought to intervene. The mom was turned away from the ambulance bay. She had to go searching for her own wheelchair. The security guard had to help her get her daughter out of the car. No, this is an environment that was set up and everybody in that hospital is complicit. That whole hospital needs to be investigated, and that Timu Red Queen LaChrista, she needs her license revoked immediately, because this is fucking disgusting. Medical racism in 2025 is fucking insane. Black women deserve protection, respect, empathy, and care, especially when that's in your fucking job description. Hope this helps. Peace and love. Talk to you later.
Anyways, welcome back, guys. That is just the honest truth. In fact, in recent days or this past few days, we've literally seen how black women are literally being treated even during their giving birth process. We've seen it where these white folks will even act as if they don't care. They will even act as if we are not humans, and we just make some silly excuses just to cover up their stupidity. Are we going to be talking about workplace? Surely from the first clip of this video, especially when you have that person that is your HR, and this person have all of that illustration that he or she have privilege. There's going to be a whole lot. A black lady has literally come out to talk about her work environment, how her work environment was really toxic for her, and she couldn't just stand it but to just quit the job. And in that video, she literally explained how her white boss we literally look at her every single time and talk about what she's wearing, and talk about what she's the braids she's carrying, and talk about every single thing. If she get a new wristwatch, the boss will be like, oh wow, so finally you got a new wristwatch, wow, that's good. And just mock her somehow. If she made a certain kind of braid, he'll be like, oh, you and this braid again, you and these braids again, and so on and so forth. It was so annoying to her that she just have to quit. She just has to tell herself this is not the environment for you. Like, you do not belong here. Because if you do belong here, you will not be receiving all of this insult as compliments. And to top it up, when she was sharing her story, she said these people will literally come to, when her boss say it, they will literally come to her face and just laugh. "Ah," and you know how annoying that is. And that is why I always keep pleading with black people: build your own stream of income, do everything in your power to build your own stream of income. Because it's not only when they are HR, as this other lady said in the video, it is not. Every single opportunity they know that they can ride on you, that is it for them. Every single opportunity they know that they can talk you down, that is it for them. Every single opportunity they know that they are literally in charge of what you need to come take, they use it without looking back. They use it. And honestly, that is why when a lot of people are like, let's boycott a lot of Americans are like, let's boycott and let's invest our money, our black dollar into our environment as black. I honestly do support that, because who will not? After every single thing that we've been seeing on daily activities, how black people are being treated. There's only a few of them that have come to that realization and be like, this thing I'm doing is not making sense. Let me just change from this thing. Why do I still need to continue this type of life? But 80 to 90% of them are still in that hierarchy space of privilege that I'm not seeing. When we go visit the doctors, big problem. When we have the knocks to help us, big problem. When we are in labor, big problem. In workplace, big problem. Just working in the environment, big problem. You don't belong here. Why are you here? I know everybody in this neighborhood. Every single person, one after the other, I can count them and tell you how many kids they have. I know them. So you don't belong here. You are a black person. You should not be here. You can't even buy a house here. Do you even get? It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Honestly. And it's painful. Anyways, let me know what you think. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share. Let me know, have you been experiencing this in your workplace, environment, anything? I just want to know so that other people can actually learn. And what do you think we should do as blacks? This is not to form any violence. This is not to bring any fights to the society, because we don't support that. But this is for us to know exactly what we need to do, especially when some uncertain situations just arrive and we just can't keep quiet. We just can't overlook it. Just a whole lot. Sometimes when I think of what black people are going through, I don't know. I don't know. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Bye for now, guys. I love you guys.